Hey everyone! Before we get this episode started, I'm going to ask you to please follow us on Instagram at LikeablePod. Follow me on Instagram at David Stickle Comedy, which is also my website, davidsticklecomedy.com, and my YouTube at David Stickle Comedy. Please follow, support there. Subscribe to the newsletter, which can be found on the Instagrams or on the websites. That would be greatly appreciated. Please, subscribing on YouTube makes a huge difference if you care about that. If you don't care about making a difference, why even listening to this? Seriously, you should just hit fast forward 30 seconds and you'll be somewhere in the intro, I assume. I don't know. I don't time these things. Who does? Who could? Who would? But yeah, please make sure you do that. Thank you, and enjoy this week's episode.
You've got jokes and you're insightful, but are you likable? You've got jokes, you're the host and are you likable?
Hello and welcome to Likeable, a show where we discuss stand-up comedy from an entry-level perspective. I'm your host, David Stickle, and today I'm joined by Mr. Vinnie Pedi.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, too. We're going to swing this slightly closer to you, my guy.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get up in their ears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in there.
I'm going to talk all hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Vincent Pedi.
Little velvet Vinnie.
Ooh, yeah. Velvet Vinnie. Not Vinnie the Slug. Vinnie get the slug. You know what I mean?
I haven't done the slug bit in a long time.
Yeah. How are you, dude?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. Honestly, life has been good. Life has been good. I'm very lucky. Yeah.
We've been trying to do this for a long time.
Yeah, not for a lack of effort.
No. It's just been like you've moved down to New York now, and you used to be a Hudson Valley guy. You know, you still got your connects up here.
Love the Hudson Valley
for sure. Yeah. But I'm happy to have you on finally.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah.
And it's a little, not gonna lie, I've watched a plenty amount of these. Mm-hmm. Very intimate setting. I feel very snug as a bug. I feel cozy. It's very cozy. It's a very rustic, vibe, and
it's too cozy in the summer. I think in the winter time when you get this tight little cubicle, a little cozy, and like our bellies are not far from touching. You know what I mean? This deceptive in the cameras. There's only about 2 feet between us right now, and you get that little winter vibe going on in here, man.
We could definitely tickle each other on the table.
We could tickle, yeah,
dude, going
for sure. If my fingers were longer, that's a possibility. I'm in that belly button.
Yeah, it's a deep innie. It's a deep innie in there.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting in there.
There's some fuzz for me.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. So. Those of you that don't know, Vinnie and I, that was your first club spot at Laugh It Up?
Yeah, you and I kind of started around the same time.
Yeah. Vinnie was on a show with me and Gary Veter. That was December 6th, 2024. I know that because that was a big day for me. I'm a big fan of Gary Veter. And I had messaged Gary to get that show on the thing, and Cal set it up. Gary told me just to have Cal contact him, and then message him, and then I was like set to open, and then Cal was like, I'm gonna need you to host, and I was like, okay, well, who's gonna open? And then you're like, hey man, I'm on this show.
Like this goddamn guy.
Well, at first I was nervous because I'd never hosted before,
Right.
But I mean, that's what got the ball rolling, and now we're host magoats over here. Yeah. Both of us are.
It worked out for the best because at the time, I don't even think I knew what hosting really was, and now that we've done it, the pageantry of it. Mm-hmm. But my wife was there. She thought you did great. I mean, it's no shock that you were able to carry the torch from there. It took me much longer to finally get to hosting and figuring it out for myself. But no, I mean, it's just that was the first club experience. It was a great vibe. I just remember at the end of the day, like we did well. And it's something, especially when it isn't like a bringer like that, and it's just a real kind of show, and you're doing your thing. Friends come along, but the validation of just doing a good job at a club show, that was like we'll never forget it. I mean,
dude, yes. So like, what's cool is like, because now you're in New York, you're kind of getting like a lot more experience, right? But like, I mean, you mentioned it, like it's not a bringer show, like it's like clubs upstate, like, and I want to say like, if you do like Levity Live or if you do like the Funny Bone or whatever, like a lot of those people that are there because they papered the room. If it's not a huge name, like those are 300 seat rooms. And even for Laugh It Up, it's 150 seats, but like Gary got 60 or 70 people there, right? And some of them were from us, but mostly it's Gary, but people are there to see comedy, you know. But like when the room's papered, the crowd doesn't care as much. Or like when it's a bringer show, like kind of they don't really care about people that aren't their friends sometimes, you know. They're just there to support their guy, you know. So it's nice when people are there as like comedy fans to just see some comedy, and they give everybody a fair shot, you know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to get them in rhythm when they're just there for comedy. But if they're there to support, I did a show at the Strip, and someone brought like 25 people out.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't do a good enough job addressing that they were there for that one guy, and they were a little bit tight.
Oh,
until
really?
we finally addressed, okay, we know you're here for this guy, and they kind of cracked him open.
Okay.
And that was a bit of a lesson. Sometimes these bigger crowds, you have to almost like address the elephant, especially if it's like towards just one or two people, and that's hard if you're doing like a bringer where there's like 5 or 6 people bringing. I think it's just harder on the host to get rhythm on the crowd.
For sure, because you're kind of like, I think, especially if the guy brought like 25 people, right? Because like, you tend to put that person towards the end, so their crowd stays for most of it, right? They might even headline that night. But at some point, that crowd is like looking at you coming up and being like, you better fucking introduce John Smith after this. I can't sit through another, little dick joke set just to hear my friend tell his little dick jokes.
Yeah, he went second to last. So.
Second to last. Hell yeah, dude.
2-hour show. Yeah.
A 2-hour show. Yeah.
Kind of torture for him.
Yeah. I mean, you've been doing the comic strip for a while now, right?
I've been lucky. I mean, it's I'm not passed by the club, but there's an independent producer that's passed that runs shows on Mondays, and there's a few other clubs and opportunities that I've been getting, and I just I'm a clean host, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I live in that chaos of crowd work where like every crowd work has a bit to it. It has a joke. But I can live in that space of like, okay, I'm going to ask you guys a question. I know there's like 7 outcomes, and I've worked on these outcomes. And if you can just do that, it stands out in the comedy scene right now. It seems like the young upcoming hosts, it's just, there's a few of us that are putting effort into it, but a lot of folks just don't want to do it, or that's not their first choice. For me, it's like always the first choice. If I can host, I'm almost like relieved. Like, oh, good, I can host. That's,
See, I don't love hosting,
right?
Not anymore. But I did, relish in it in the beginning. You know what I mean? But like, I do think I really like the challenge of warming up the room and doing that. But I think after hosting so much for so long, I'm like, can they just be warm when they see me? It's definitely like a whole different beast. And you're finding you like it a lot. I'm
an annoying guy. I have a lot of social anxiety outward. I talk way too much. That's why I'm a sales guy, right? And when I can go up there and I'm the first one, that's welcomed energy of like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to figure out what this crowd needs. And it's almost like you're the quarterback and you're putting you're putting the ball in the skill position's hands, right? So like I just see myself as like, let me just set up everyone else to be successful. If I do the right things, and all of a sudden the next comic, or they figure out, okay, this crowd likes, really nasty crowd work, and then they want simple jokes. Like, how would they figure that out unless the host did some crowd work, did some more complicated bits, maybe they do a simple joke, and they see what they react to. And also, we put so much work into this. Like, there's so much time and money and effort. To then go to a show and the host doesn't do a good job, it makes me, like, sick.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like it's kind of like a control freak thing, I think, too, a neurotic nature where, like, I can make the comics comfortable, I can make the crowd comfortable, I can let my social anxiety thrive because I live in that chaos on stage. I want there to be really intense, random, encounters, if you will, some improv.
Yeah.
But when it happens and it works out and you crack the crowd and it's going great, you get a lot of the credit, dude.
Oh.
So it's like hosts, it's like if you're a good host, word gets around.
Yeah. You get a lot of credit from like the comics, I think the crowd doesn't really fully appreciate what you did, but like the comics credit is important. I when I do host, I like to try and do what you kind of mentioned there, which is just like kind of touch on everything that is, kind of like going through, like I'll do some clean stuff, some family stuff, and then I'll hit some dirty and then some dark. And what the crowd reacts the most positively to And sometimes I'll even just call it out. I'll be like, oh, you guys like dark stuff. And I'm just hoping the other comics are paying attention to be like, okay, you can say that joke, you know?
Yeah.
Like this crowd feels more like an open mic crowd versus like this crowd feels like a regular, like, you know, a little soft crowd on a Sunday afternoon. You know, it's cool.
I mean, sometimes the room has something to do with it. If it's too well lit, they may not laugh at dirty stuff because they're like looking around at each other and going, oh, geez. Like, or if it's a dark room and you can't really see even like, you're like the 2 tables over and someone says some crazy shit and you're like, it's great, you know, because you feel that privacy.
For sure.
Honestly, there's so many factors, and at the end of the day, we're always going to be wrong, right? There's always something we could do better. Like, rarely is it ever going to be perfect. And the one thing I always, and it's bit me in the ass a few times, where like I really like to be direct, especially from feedback. So like, if I didn't do well, or a comic is uncomfortable, or a booker wants me to, you know, they're like, you're not ready yet. Like, tell me what. Like, give me some good notes and give me some good feedback. Like, even as simple as you're bringing up, like, the last comic, but then there's, like, late night after it. And you go, listen, you ready for your final comic? Like, the late night folks could get pissed because you're like, there's more comedy after this.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's like, if you don't hear that feedback from your comics, from the audience, from the bookers, like, how are you going to grow? And I just am very, like, just give it to me straight. And I think that's at the end of the day, like, what makes comics comfortable too is like, if you're uncomfortable and I'm hosting, like, please tell me.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out. Because what the hell do I care? I'm not like, you know, I don't give a shit. I'm like the support guy. Like, I'm the host.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the ego's at the door with me. You know
But what do they like expect to happen? Like, they're just gonna like, you're gonna do that job and then you're gonna get done and they're just gonna be like upset and then never try to like fix it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And now
like,
they just have bitterness, or, you know, it's.
I know, they fucking. That sucks.
And also, there's times where you're always wrong. Like, you know, so if, that's the thing. It's like, you just sometimes need to let people also talk and be like, I hear you loud and clear. And then you talk to the producer like, that's bullshit. And you're like, all right, whatever. It's not my job to argue with you. I just want to be easy to work with, too. Like, just if you could be easy to work with and stand up, it's going to get you much further than, you know, anything else. So.
Hell yeah. What so like I think it's a cool thing, and I think this is an interesting thing to talk about. So I mean, you started comedy in the Hudson Valley, right? That's when you started, right?
Well, I had a really complicated 2023 where I lost an election, and I was in a pretty dark spell of like depression. And
what were you running for?
I was running for a city council seat in the city of Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
You know, it came like 39 votes short. It was a very small loss. And then I realized I didn't have the kind of friends I thought I had, and it was just this sort of cycle of realizing maybe what I really enjoyed and not enjoyed. And in that depression, I just began to write, because I always wrote jokes. I always was like funny, especially in my work at Dutchess Community College. I was always a humorous guy with tours, and I used to teach, and I used to make crowds laugh that weren't there to laugh.
Yeah.
So then it became like, well, now that I want to let go of all this stuff, and I can kind of break it down a little bit. My wife wasn't happy in the area. I said, let me start to do stand-up and try. And I actually would drive to the city, usually like a Monday or a Tuesday. I think it was usually Mondays. And I would do like West Side comedy at noon, like park in the Upper West Side, leave the house at 9, 10 in the morning. West Side at noon, West Side, Broadway, maybe go to the Village, end up at like Grizzly Pear Midtown at 10:30 or something, like late night mic, and I'd get home at midnight. So I would do like 5 or 6 mics in a day. And because I lived upstate in Poughkeepsie and people kind of knew my name and face from political mailers and things, it was like I get noticed. So being in the city, it was nice to just be like no one. Yeah. And I couldn't do my terrible material that I opened up with, you know. And then over time, I met Jenna Marie, like Jenna Sarachi at Dutchess Community College. And she introduced me to the local comedy scene, two-way and all that. And that's when you all got to meet me. And I was, because I didn't know. I mean, how would you find the local scene, right? And I never even met comics. I never knew any comics.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, James DeSalvo told me about the two-way mic. That's after my first mic, it was at Laugh It Up when they still ran mics. And then James DeSalvo told me about two-way that Kevin was doing at the time. And then I only did Laugh It Up for like 2 more mics. It was every other week. And then Cal stopped it. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I want to continue to try. So then I started going the two-way. And then that's where I met like, because I had seen Michael. I had seen, you know, other comics a bit, you know, but like that's where everybody was like hanging out. And I was like, oh, okay. Like this is like an actual scene, you know?
I mean, I did the one Laugh It Up mic where I fell getting onto the stage. I don't know if you were there.
Was that the last one?
Yeah, that was the last one. Because I went on the right side. He didn't. Whoever was hosting it wouldn't say like on deck.
Okay.
Next up in the whole like, so I didn't know when I was up. And he goes, "All right, Vincent Pedi," because I used to go by Vincent. And I was like, I'm gonna be professional, Vincent Pedi. And I go by Vinnie Pedi. So I went the right side of the stage where there's no stool. And I got my foot caught and I like fell onto the stage. And I didn't know Michael at the time, but I remember just hearing everyone go nuts.
Yeah, Michael
like laughing. Yeah, he did the laugh.
Yeah,
exactly. He did that.
Was that the night? I don't want to say the comic's name. Was that the night that the host said the N-word?
I don't think so.
Okay, then yeah, you
My
would
wife's
know.
black.
I showed up. I showed up a half hour later than the mic started because I had just gotten out of work, and then that's all everybody was talking about.
She would have
And
been
I was like,
upset.
Yeah.
No, but I fell and I bled. I like cut my knee, and I remember I was like, I'm gonna restart my time. Like, let me start from the beginning. But I bombed, and it was pretty hilarious, and it just was one of those like experiences. Like that's how everyone kind of remembered me at two-way. Like, you were the guy that fell, because everyone made fun of me after. But I left. I was like, I'm leaving. This is done.
That's so funny.
And I was bleeding, and my wife, she was like, "Are you okay? Like, are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." She was like, "That was bad." I'm like,
my ego hurts more.
I didn't. Once you've been embarrassed, like in an election, and you lose, and it's all these people looking at you, it was kind of like the ego death that I've kind of become much more cold, like in a sense of rejection.
Yeah.
Stand up is not as bad as running for office.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Why did you want to run for city council? Like, what was your or not your platform, but like, what were you like? What were you hoping to change?
I've always been interested in politics, and it just became this natural sort of organic community thing. I just helped a lot of people run, did their campaign work, and supported winners, basically people that won. Some people who I supported that didn't really support me. It was like, the backstabbing stuff kind of occurred. At the end of the day,
Backstabbing in politics.
That's
unheard of.
I couldn't believe it. But at the end of the day, it was really more of the fascination of community building. I was only interested in the local stuff. But, especially on the other side of it now, I really wasn't able to be, like, you see, like, certain people, it's like their authentic self. I was terrified of posting on social media. I was feeling like I filtered myself constantly. It wasn't as natural as I thought it would be. And so you try something, and I always did the work. Like, I knew how to petition, I knew how to run campaigns, I knew how to do all the back end, but now this time I was a candidate. And it was a jump. Like, I was running for a citywide position for a Democratic primary, but one of those types where once you win the primary, you win the general. Like, the general's in certain cities or towns, it's all
like
Democrats.
they're going to vote Democrat. So if you ran against a Republican in the primary, after the primary, you're pretty much a lock.
It's like 90%, 80% Dems.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it at all. I definitely know and feel, I'm sure a lot of the people that knew me or supported me probably think I went nuts. Like, I just left and do stand up. Like, what the hell happened to Vinny?
Yeah.
But it just shows something that it just sort of happened organically. Like, you build up over time, over years, supporting people, helping people, being involved in the committees, and all of a sudden, like, an opportunity comes, and you have to decide you're going to do it. But also, like, people pushed me and supported me at the same time. And then there was a person who resigned as the chair, and I was going to actually get voted on, but there was issues there. So I was just in the mix hard.
Yeah.
And it just kind of led to it. And I'll be honest, like, kind of dodged a bullet. I don't think I would have been successful. I think I would have been torn apart, because I'm just not a super vindictive guy. I'm not good at pinning people against each other.
Right.
The things that you need to destroy your enemies and neutralize things.
Yep.
So I'm, and also all the things we fought for, like lead pipe, fixing lead pipes for kids and all these different, like, issues that I was like a part of, like, they got money to fix it. So, like, I feel like we actually raised issues, and I didn't have to do any of the work. So I'm kind of like, sick. I was like the city of Poughkeepsie is better off than it was 5 years ago, and like I have a small part of that, and I'm like, that's happened. Good. I'm cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. So do you think about it at all? You're just completely, you're like, I'm done. That's.
My wife really didn't like it, and also didn't like what I became.
Okay.
Because it does change you.
You have to be like on and schmooze a lot, and
well, that's not hard for me. Schmoozing, I'm a people pleaser, so
I know, but you also seem like a pretty honest guy. you know, when you turn it off sometimes, and you're just you sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
I just find that I did well with individuals and talking to them. I didn't do well with the donors. I didn't do well with like the committee types at times. I'm not like I'm a square guy, but in an unconventional way. And also like I fit much better with comics because my thing is I put a good first impression up. I have a good like. My wife was making fun of me that I try to put this perfect image of myself out there. But at the end of the day, like I'm as crazy as the rest of us, and like, once people learn who I am, they're like, this guy's kind of nuts. So like, I think that's what happened to me too in that world, where they're like, this guy's really well put together, and then you hang out with me at a little feud many times, and you're like, bit of a weirdo, you know? It's like really likes Tim and Eric. It's like, geez,
that's
funny. So I think that happened a little bit too, where like, you know, you're supposed to be really serious and like, I'm gonna get tough on this, and I could be serious, but sometimes it's like I'd rather just go door to door and make people laugh about something or talk about sports. Like that's the relation. That's what drew me. That's why stand up makes sense. Because I just want to go up and talk to people. And also in politics, you help people with their voice. Stand up, it's just us now, man. Yeah, we can write for someone, but like if you want to go up there you go, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like no one can take that from you anymore. Like politics, they can take your voice. Stand up. Unless you do something crazy, I suppose. They can't take your voice.
It's cool because, like, you know, I do feel as though... So, like, when I was in high school and all throughout college, like, I wanted to be a police officer after college. Like, that was my goal. And the first thing they told you, like, freshman year, first class, intro to criminal justice, they're like, don't post anything on Facebook. Don't use your real fucking name on Facebook. Don't do this. Don't do that. So like for a while, like a lot of people still call me David Farmy because my Facebook profile was David Farmy. Like I didn't have my real last name on there, right? And you know, it was just such a relief to actually. I think that's why I don't have it anymore. But I got Snapchat because it was like this thing that was like gonna be deleted, and I didn't have to worry about like, you know, a department or anything potentially hiring me finding that. So it was just like, it was nice to have to be on social media after I kind of like knew I wasn't going to be a police officer, and just be like, oh, I can just say what I actually want on here. And I still don't post like crazy stuff, but like, you know, there was a time where I was just like doing animal videos and doing voiceovers for animals on the farm, you know? And I'm like, oh, I couldn't do this if I was, you know, trying to be a cop still.
I mean, you could, but it would just be like scrutinized. And that's the thing. It's like, you're a nice guy, an empathetic guy. You'd be a phenomenal police officer. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like the systems around us, unfortunately, they kind of sniff out those things. And I think that's another thing. I was exposed to a world that I realized I wasn't really welcomed in. You know, you have to kind of stand on your own 2 feet and be willing to eat alone if you're in some of these spaces.
Yeah.
Like loyalty isn't valued. You know, and it's something that like you and I can get along and like be buddies and come up together in these spaces, but then like there's only one position, so now we have to tear each other down. And I like to lead with trust. I like to share things about myself, let people like, I'm see what you see is what you get kind of guy. So that didn't serve me well either.
That's kind of the ugly thing about a primary is that like, you know, the person you're running against was on your team, you know, 6 months before this. And then, you know, then they're just like talking about all the shit that you do and be like, I'm better than this guy because, and then that kind of sucks about the primary thing.
The thing that stunk and was difficult was it got nasty and personal in certain ways. And, you know, very, very behind the scenes. Not that it was that public, but... And then I'm on the committees and I'm like supporting the party. So now after the primary, I have to help them like with their campaigns. So I always joked, it's like you're helping your ex like pick out the best outfit for her date.
Yeah,
so
that sucks, dude.
You can't disconnect.
Yeah,
and that's why ultimately I had to just kind of get away. And plus, my wife wanted to leave. We just stayed here our whole lives. We lost our apartment. You know, it's like $1,000 more to live in where we live in Brooklyn versus upstate. And listen, stand up, it's like you kind of know if you're getting better and things are progressing, you kind of figure it out, unless you're delusional and just convince yourself otherwise. If you're honest with yourself and you work on it, you can see growth. You're like, oh, maybe I can get better at this, or I am seeing improvement. So they reached a point where like moving to the city and working there, but also pursuing stand-up was worth it. Like I think I had done enough and showed enough progress where like, okay, I think we can, you know, give it a shot. Because that time at Laugh It Up, I know I seem like a chipper guy, but that was a very tough time in my life. I was very depressed, or I was really struggling with a lot of mental health issues. So that's why like everyone kind of saw me like, oh, this is a nice guy, happy guy, whatever. But like I was burying a lot of emotion.
Yeah, dude, you hid that pretty well because I mean, it didn't like didn't really show. You know? Yeah. I mean, like, even when I see you now, I mean, you know, you don't strike me as you seem happier overall, but compared to the time at Laugh It Up in December of 24, like, it didn't like seem like you were going through anything, you know what I mean? You know, but I mean, at the same time, also, I was probably pretty blind to a lot of stuff because I'm just like, oh my God, comedy, you know? Like, I was also pretty stoked.
That's for me, it was just like, I'm like 30, I was 33, and I'm realizing that I had to go into like a fourth career. And it wasn't even stand up. That was just something that like, the only goal I have in stand up, truth be told, like, I'm 35 now, is I just want to be very, very funny by 40. Like, by 40, just be like really good.
Yeah.
Like 7 years in, I think I'll be at that point, 8 years, something like that, give or take the timeline. Be really like, oh wow, he's really funny. So like, that's the only goal I'm put on myself at this point. I'll let the rest figure itself out. Yeah. You know, and also hosting, like, I've had so many people be like, be careful telling everyone you love hosting because you'll get boxed in as a host. And I'm like, I'm gonna be just getting older. I don't want to jump 5 spots a night. Doing the club bounce around thing, like, you're telling me like I could do 2 host spots a night, get paid more money, and you know what I mean, like, not like that. That's a dream. I would do that for as long as I can.
Everybody, I don't think a lot of people know who Artie Fuqua is, right? You know who that is?
He is really good.
Yeah, so he was in the car with Tracy Morgan when they get hit by the thing, but he is a regular host at the Comedy Cellar. He spends, and even Cypher Sounds spends pretty much their night there hosting shows at the Cellar, introducing the next comics. But they open up, they do 10, they introduce the next 10, and it just goes. They get paid a lot of money. They might not get like the recognition that a lot of these people do that eventually go like on tour and shit. Like, Cypher can go on tour now, but like, you know, like, that's a fucking hell of a, I mean, like, and it's also like, that's a job that a lot of people don't want to do, but there is work, you know, and if you're really good at it, I mean, there's steady work because most people don't want to do it. If you think about it, like, there's like, you know, a couple hundred comedians in New York City right now that are trying to get on spots on clubs and whatnot. And, you know, they're vouching for all of these little spots, but I mean, they don't have the skills to host, but that's a great way to get into every club once you figure it out.
Especially,
you know,
declare I love hosting and I'm clean, because that too, these audiences, I think, are just so tight.
Yeah,
you gotta ease it in a little bit. Yeah, and like, I have nothing wrong with dirty comedy. I love dirty comedy. It makes me laugh. And there's bits I have that are dirtier or darker, and I've been trying to figure out some of those, you know, like, I think I did one of my darker jokes when I brought you up, and I was like, damn it, I should have done that.
Oh, the
like,
turtle joke?
Yeah. Like, what have I done?
No, I was able to riff off that pretty well. Yeah.
But it's like, I'm trying to navigate, you know, what works and what doesn't in my style and this and that. But like, when you tell, like, I love to host and I'm clean, and these audiences, they're so tight sometimes. And like, it's much easier for someone like me to come up and joke about my weight and earn some trust and make fun of this guy a little bit, and then it's like everything is a little, you know, it's almost like we're just starting to cook a little bit. Yep. And then, all right, my work's done, and then I put on the next comic who takes the bigger swing. They're ready for it, and it's just like, it's very satisfying to just see that play out, and I'm just so happy to. It's just a role that, like, I just love that chaos, and I love that anxiety. It's just what I live in. Yeah. I live in that anxious space of, okay, like, it's just us now, and because the one thing I've always been able to rely on is I'm very confident on stage because of all the years of teaching and all the years of public speaking. And like, before I really entered stand-up, I tracked about 800 public speaking engagements over like 6 years. And so I didn't want to become some sort of life coach like a Tony Robbins, like, I'm gonna fix your life. I know I'm fat and my life's in chaos, but I'm gonna make your life better. Like, that wasn't gonna be it. And I'm not a snake oil salesman, and you know, so I just knew that it was either stand-up or bust, you know. And so that confidence is what I lean on first, and then the crowd work is what I kind of, the bits and how I lead that up, and then material gets to be kind of like my bronze, which I've fortunately gotten a lot stronger, because in the beginning my material was probably my most difficult part. Like, I'd get people going, I'd do some crowd work and get these big pops. It's like, all right, folks, time to do some material, and it's like you're getting these mid laughs. I'm like, God, like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like
isn't that such a heartbreaker? You're like, this thing I thought of in 2 seconds on stage got a bigger laugh than the thing I spent 3 months writing,
Yeah.
and then finally just said it out loud today.
Yeah, I make fun of the guy being like, "Save me some popcorn later," and there it's like, "Whoa, this is great!" And then I joke like, "All right, let me talk some jokes," and it's just like, I'm like, "Oh God," but that's got you got to just stay with it and just keep going, and But that's the thing. If for me, it's like I've done so many difficult, I host mics that have been really difficult, and it's like if you just will it, if you're up there and you're like, I don't care how you react. I don't care how your energy is, we're going to have a good show. And you just have like that energy of like, this is going to be good no matter what. You can will it to success.
Yeah.
So it just takes like, I have that in me to like, I'm dead inside, buddy. Like you're not, like you're going to have fun whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's like, you mentioned being clean for the hosting set. And I think that's very important because like if you open with like a 9/11 joke, you know what I mean? It's like that's a very and I think a lot of people fail to understand like the crowd experience with this. It's like, chances are half the room is just the date of somebody who wanted to see the show, right? So half the room already doesn't want to watch the comedy, and then so the show is starting and now they have these perceptions of crowd work. They're nervous, they're scared that it's going to become like this interaction thing. And then on top of that, they're in their own heads. They don't know what to expect because they're not comedy fans, right? So then when the show starts and you get up there and you just start being silly, like you're the introduction to silly, and letting them know that it's going to be silly and fun. That's a great tool and skill to have because, I mean, if you get up there and you're like, I'm going to try my edgiest joke, and then like half that room is going to be like, what the fuck? I mean, so if you get what kills me is like sometimes the stars align and then that joke like erupts the room and you're off to a very hot start, and that's fantastic. But that's got to be like, I mean, from experience, that's like a 1 out of 10 occurrence, that is like the proper situation for that.
Yeah, and if they knew you or they were coming to see you or you were like established, then you get so much more.
Yeah, but the person they're coming to see is never the host. Right. So it's the headliner.
So we're introducing ourselves. So I like to do a lot of self-deprecating humor. That's what keeps me in the clean zone. I'll point to my weight or I'll point to things about me. And I actually learned that the most important thing for me is like I build trust with them first. They have to like me and trust me because those are my two biggest traits. It's like people like me and they trust me because I'm a likable person. I try to be like Likeable podcast. I try to be just someone who like is golden rule oriented. I will not treat someone the way I don't want to be treated, and I always root for everyone until they give me a reason not to. Like let you be the reason why I'm like whatever, I'm fine with him, or her, whatever. Like that's okay. But if that's but if we're cool, we're cool. Like I'll do anything I can to help any Hudson Valley comic or visiting comic to the city. Like if they reach out, I will give them anything I can to help out. Like that's my vibe. But like I find that like if I come up on a host set and I do my little intros, welcome to the show, blah 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 blah, I actually just do a quick bit that shows, listen, I like to make fun of my weight, and this is a really easy bit to laugh at my weight, and it introduces my wife a little bit of like it's a nice loving bit. Once that's done, I notice like now crowd work, now more stuff, then they're really receptive. So like that's the thing, like some comics are just so good at going up and building instant credibility where they can just jump right into the crowd work and they can just let it fly. Like James Mattern's a big example.
Oh yeah.
The amount of tags he has on like this guy looks like he robs a safe, like just like the things he's built up, it's almost like mind-boggling. But like that's the kind of guy he can just jump right in, he's fine. But like for me, like I have to do a bit, then I get to the crowd stuff and I have to teach them like it's okay to laugh at these things, it's okay. And then also no one's gonna laugh at just a doofy guy, I suppose. Like they want to hear like either you're attacking them a little bit or you're attacking yourself. They have to be embarrassing, like they so for me, like I get sassy on stage and I really like to screw around with them. But again, it's like a brother bullying. I'm not saying laugh at this guy, it's like we're all laughing with you, buddy, so I have to earn that because I've done shows where I've gone up and I started screwing around and it's just dead because they almost like didn't know what the hell I was doing. So you're never right. You're always going to be wrong. And that's one thing I calm myself down with. It's like there's something that you're always going to regret something, or we're always going to make the wrong decision. I mean, it's just the way it goes.
That's a good like mentality to have though when you're doing any kind of performative thing, but specifically comedy, just because it's like, I don't know, like you just can't take yourself like too seriously, you know? I mean, you know, like, cause you're going up there and you're trying to establish, I think that's why like doing a couple jokes about yourself in the beginning lets the crowd know that you don't take yourself too seriously. You're not high and mighty up there just because you have the microphone, you know what I mean? So that way when you engage with them, they're not like, you know, like, oh, this guy's stern, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky because I had this breakthrough kind of within the last month or two, and it's especially in clubs where like they for some reason make you a little more tense, like the way the layout is or the way the stage is set up. There, you just feel a little more tight.
As crowd or as comic?
As a comic. Like,
Okay.
you know, like me performing as a host, right? Like Eastville, it's like home turf.
Yeah.
Right? Like I could get up there anytime, any environment, I'm good. But like there's some clubs where like you're a little off because it's like new, it's foreign, it's different. The way the stage feels under your feet, the way the light, it's just different. So I had this mentality where I used to teach for so long, especially on a volunteer basis and some other things. Why would I be nervous teaching my class? Why would I be nervous walking up there and delivering my lecture? So why should I be nervous doing stand-up? Like I'm just going up to my class. Like I very much channel that kind of like teacher energy. And then when I handled hecklers, like I had these four guys at the show at the Whiskey Cellar, and they were like definitely on coke. Like one kid physically couldn't stop talking.
Yeah.
So like you can't really like get that mad at him. It's like you're like, it's like you have to leave the show, but like he was screwed up. And like I had to do a bit of a serious kind of thing with him, but like he wouldn't stop during another comic. I had to like kind of tell him like during the show, like you gotta stop and you gotta leave. And like one of their friends scolded him. But that's the kind of poise where like I've had to shut up like a middle schooler or like kids, and it's like it's very similar.
Yeah.
If you can get an 8-year-old or 9-year-old under control, you can get a drunk audience member under control. Or if they're on coke or something, you just got to get them out of there. They literally cannot stop. But for the most part, you know, like being the teacher vibe and like having that confidence and walking and being like, why would I be nervous? Like that's actually been a huge breakthrough for me.
What's helped me a lot is I heard I want to say it was on like Hot Breath or one of these other podcasts where they kind of maybe it was Mike Birbiglia's working it out, but it was don't in your own head, don't acknowledge that you're nervous, acknowledge that you're excited, you know, acknowledge that you care, you know. And that's something. And I think when I started comedy, I came off to a hot start because like when I was doing it, it was just after a bad breakup, and my whole mindset was like, I get to do this, you know? And I think somewheres along the line, after some time, I'm like, all right, I gotta host, or I gotta do this. I gotta do well. I have to do well. Like I have to be better. Like, you know, and it's all this added pressure versus that like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. You know what I mean? And I think I remembered that not super long ago, and that like kind of helped me get better at, you know, being more comfortable on stage again, you know, because it just took a lot of that self-proclaimed like pressure on, you know, or off.
I think you got hot early because you do the backwards hat move. All right,
the backwards hat move.
Backwards hat on stage.
Yeah.
Who does the backwards hat anymore?
I don't know.
It's your thing, right?
Nah, Jacob does it. Jacob will put it forward.
Yeah, but he sits though.
He just started sitting. So Jacob started sitting.
Whenever I see a video, I'm going, "Where's that hat?" I
yeah.
see that
well, because of the sweat, dude, that was really bad. But also, like, my hair when it grows out, will just start. It's actually very curly when it grows, but it does like this weird rooster thing, and it swoops up. And at a certain point, I'm like trying to get ready for a show, and it drives me so fucking nuts. I'm like, I'm just gonna put that on. Just gonna put that on. And I've tried to perform with it off, like in situations like this, and I'll just get glazed because I know there's no thing to catch anything. So then I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, no, I actually surprisingly stay pretty like dry. Like I don't get sweaty. The only time I got
which is nice.
The only time I got sweaty was like if I do anything random, like acting, like a little, like I've done like 1 or 2 little tiny like plays or acting things, and I was drenched. I was like soaked, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? But I just think it's hilarious when I see the hat. I'm like, that's because I used to have my hat. I used to put it on the stand.
Oh,
and
okay.
I heard some Boston guy did it and some Baltimore guy did it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing that. I also just like bringing the hat up, and I forget my notes, and I just want to be,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I ever start balding, people won't know. Yeah.
This is my thing. I swear.
He's always worn a hat.
I'm the backwards hat guy.
Hell yeah. I like it. I started wearing, I got my podcast logo on these hats,
yeah.
right? And then I was like, well, I always wear it backwards, so nobody's gonna see it. So it's fucking pointless, yeah. So it works.
Yeah,
I like it. So when you started, so like you started in the city because you were doing that like on Mondays, right? And then
like once a week I would drive down. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then you started to do comedy up here.
Yeah.
But then when you moved down to New York, like full time, did you like, because I think you kind of mentioned you liked that you were kind of anonymous, but it seemed like in no time at all you were like established with the Golden Pen mic at Eastville. I mean, from perception wise, it seemed like that was a pretty quick thing.
Yeah,
and then
very, very lucky.
Yeah, and then it's just like it seems like you established yourself fairly quickly down there. Was that just like skills from your background, or do you think like you mentioned just now that you were lucky, but like
I mean, getting the Sunday mics at Eastville. First of all, like getting any opportunity to host a mic in the city, it's like the most frustrating but great. It's like a great thing, but it's very frustrating because it depends on where you are and what the setup is and all the different factors. But like you don't have a lot of control. But the one thing I always said, like any mic I went to, if I got really angry at like the way the host was running it or the vibe of it, I was like, when I get a mic, it's not going to be this way. It's going to be much more fun. It's going to be better. And so when I was on vacation in Barbados when we were literally we just moved into the city and we went on a trip with our friends, and it was a very stressful time. And we got noticed that we were going to get that mic on Sunday, and Laughing Buddha used to run it, but it was like their worst day of the week. Sundays were the worst days for Eastville. So I got it. Hunter Wright got the one before me, and then there was a more established mic after it. But I got this gift it was a Golden Pen that was a gift that I got from a former mentor when I left the political stuff, and I didn't know what to do with it because it's like, what do I do with this fancy pen? So I always said, if I have a mic, I'll call it the Golden Pen. People could take a picture with it. It creates this kind of like community, right? And also it kind of snapshots who's doing comedy at the time. Thought it was a cute idea, but Hunter and I, through just sheer like effort, like I greet everyone that comes in. I'm a welcoming energy. I want to make sure people like, feel comfortable. They're welcome. They know the process. That like I'm there. I'm paying attention. Like anything else, when the leader laughs and has a good time or has good energy, everyone under has a good time. When the leader's stressed or the leader doesn't care, it's like anything organizationally. Whoever is at the top, whatever their energy is, it usually reflects down. So if I'm sitting there laughing like a maniac at anything that's remotely funny, and I'm having fun and I'm enjoyed and locked in, it creates like that energy. And if people don't like it, they can go fuck off. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you do enjoy it and you want to be a part of it, that's fine. I also don't police people's behavior unless it's like something crazy. Like if you want to come in and you want to look at your phone and do the mic and then leave, that's your business. I'm not here to police your behavior. If you want to sit at the bar, you should really support the mic. Like, no, you're an adult. You paid money to be here. I don't really care. But like, don't ask me for like, can I get up early for this thing? Like, you know what I mean? I may not give you like favors. You know what I mean? So like, I just don't police people's behavior. They're adults. I just do my best to like lead by example, have a good time. But like those reps of hosting really accelerated some things for me. And then the relationships you build. Hunter had much more friends, so she brought more people. I built the systems in a sense of like the structure of it. She lets me be a control freak because I'm a bit neurotic. And like at the end of the day, like it worked out well. And I hosted my own mic. It was like called 7 Minutes in Heaven. It was 2 7-minute mics back to back. So I used to do that. And honestly, man, I'm going to be real with you. I went down there knowing no one. Yeah. And I just kind of like put myself out there. And I also just knew, like, I'll find my people. You know what I mean? And I knew at the end of the day, like the upstate folks, like I wanted to do my best to support them. But like, y'all figured it out pretty damn quick when I left. Like Don't Tell and all this sorts of opportunities started coming through. Like the comedy scene's been much more like fortified since when we started. It seems that way at least. And you've had a big hand in that, so it's like,
thanks,
kudos
man.
to you. I mean,
I think it's been
it's been
ESPN 1 week since I looked. We're gonna get demonetized. I don't get any money off this anyways. Fuck. Damn it. No. Yeah. It's exploded quite a bit. I mean, I think a lot of people saw the value of producing their own shows, and I started producing a few of them, but like. The Don't Tells really helped a lot. And you know what I think what it was is like in the beginning, at least for when I started, or when we started, it seemed like there was like Keith Prince shows and him and Danny were still working together.
Yep.
So there was two now independent producers that were producing one show at a time. And then there was Laugh It Up.
Yeah.
And it was just like two opportunities. And now a lot of people are doing a lot of different stuff. Kingston's grown quite a bit, and there's a lot more in Beacon now. There's just a lot. So
no, it's great. I mean, Keith and Danny, good guys. I mean, Kyle, great guy. I mean, it's just like everyone's great. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like it's a difficult hustle, and like I seldom try to produce shows in the city unless there's like a lot of setup and support and all that.
Yeah.
Like it's a brutal game, but I think at the end of the day, what you have to just bank on is understand your role and figure out the role you want to push out there and be. For me, I knew quickly on that like hosting was just something I really liked, and I really when you're like I'm in my mid-30s, we're in our mid-30s, and it's like I think you just live long enough to know what gets me excited and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And if this gets me excited, you got to pay attention to it, because I would, if this didn't excite me, then I'm not going to really give it that much effort. I'm gonna be like, yeah, all right, fine, but there's something about it, and you just need a few people to believe in you. So like I found that I tend to do well with other comics who are kind of professional, especially in their professional life. It's no surprise that some comics I'm friends with are lawyers or accountants or whatever, like in that executive world. I'm a sales guy, I work, so it's just like at the end of the day, I kind of knew who my people were going to be. I wasn't going to bother with some of the scenes with the young 20-somethings where at the end, after 11 o'clock, they're all just trying to bang. So it's like, I'm married.
Completely different people,
I'm
dude.
just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Go to my wife. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, that's not going to be my fit. Nor, am I going to force my way in? It's just like, I've always believed in kind of just like the day-by-day approach of like, I'll see you on a Monday, say hello to you. Next time I see you, it'll be maybe a little bit better. By the fifth, sixth time you see me, you like, it's not like what I say to you, but I make you feel good, and you like it. You like me, and then like if you see me, I'm funny on stage. It's like then you're gonna be like a buddy. You're gonna support each other. So that's the thing too with the stand up scene in the city. It's like you can do mics all day and try new stuff, but like honestly, you're behooved to just like do your A stuff as much as you possibly can, because you don't know, people are booking stuff left and right, talking all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Do you recommend that? Like if, because I've been going down to New York probably once a week, sometimes twice a week, and just hitting mics and just doing like what I can. And I've been using it to, because I'm on a lot of shows. For me, it's a lot. Like I'm using it to work out material as fast as I can. So I'll pick a set, I'll pick a few jokes, and then I'll do that West Side Comedy Club. I'll get off at Harlem 123, go down to 72nd, West Side with Greg Giraldo, and then I'll pop down to Drew Tessler's mic at East Village, or not East Village, Greenwich, yep, or Grizzly Pear, and I'll pop around, but I have like a set in mind, and I'm just trying to hammer it till it's like clean, not clean, but you know what I mean, like efficient.
Feels good.
Yeah,
and you know what you want. Yeah.
But I mean, or do you think it's better to just like have your solid 10 and just do that as much as you can in the city, and maybe not try to chip away at new material?
I think we're always wrong.
Okay.
There's no right answer.
It goes back to what you said before.
We're always wrong. I think it's something like, as long as you're funny in the room, I don't think anything matters. So for me, like, what do they always say? Like, you can riff or do like a solid joke to get it started. Like, I don't believe in doing anything new up front, because it's just what are you doing, I guess. put the new stuff in the middle and always close on something that you know is going to work. Some rooms are just so dreadful that you know it's going to suck. Like, you know, sometimes there's nothing you can do and it just stinks. So it's
Well,
like,
the
who
pair,
gives a shit?
right?
Yeah,
I mean, the one in the
You'd be surprised if you know if you have friends there and you can kind of attack a few people and you're like screw around with them a little bit. But if you don't know anyone, at the end of the day, no one cares about anyone but themselves. You can support people and be an ally, but like we're always number one, right, for ourselves, and that's just kind of a mental health thing too. But like, truth be told, like, people will judge you off first impressions. Bookers definitely judge you off first impressions. That's why there's no rush getting in front of bookers. Like, take your damn time. There's no rush. And if they walk away with like, oh no, he's funny, and they just realize you're doing some new stuff, or even if you go like, all right, let's do some new stuff, you know, and you kind of like show you're confident, you know what you're doing and all that, like, then who gives a shit? It's fine. I think it's just letting, like, people just won't respect you or give you the time of day until they like kind of know you're funny. And you've probably experienced this where like you may meet a headliner or someone, they're like, oh yeah, nice to meet you, okay, great, and then they see you and then you do a good job and they're like, oh, what was your Instagram? And, and that's a great feeling, because then you're like, okay, good. And that's been that's happened to me in a few situations where like I'm a little surprised that, you know, they were as nice as they were after the fact, and you try not to judge them on it. But that's the most important currency, is like, are you funny, are you not? Because the quantity of comics is a thing, but the quality definitely is thinner compared to, I think, in the past, right? You didn't have as much quantity, but it seemed like the quality was there because you had to want it
in
more.
the past, yeah.
And now it's just so accessible and so many people want to do it.
So many people.
That and I think that's fine. It's just like, another thing too is like, I would say for you as well, like, you have a unique voice, you're your own unique person. I have my own unique voice. There's no one I would really say you assimilate to, or like, oh, like I see you and I go, he's trying to do that. You know what I mean?
Thanks,
like,
man.
Well, no, but really though, that's what differentiates a lot of comics in the early stages. Like, if we're doing our own thing, that stands out. So it's like, you know, if you have your own unique voice, no one, you know, you're not ripping off anything else. And
you know, I'll say what attributes to that, I think, is we started later.
yeah,
We were already dudes before we, you know,
in our 30s,
we're not, we're not kids who are watching people. I mean, we've had enough time to like figure out who we are before we went on stage. And we also have like a lot of life experience. So where we, you know, you care less when you get older, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't think about so much of the social environments. I mean, that's the thing with me too, is like, I used to knock on people's doors and like ask them to sign petitions or vote for me or something. And I used to have to be in these mixers and I have to do all this networking, and I'm in sales, and like the only reason why I have the work I do is because of my networking skills. Like, I got my next job, I had a layoff, and then within a month had a new job because like one of the people that was hiring knew me and they were like, oh my god, he's free, you know. So it's like literally networking's a part of like my bread and butter of like how I live.
Same, man.
So,
Yeah.
exactly, it's very important, and not everyone has that kind of natural skill set and also comfort level. And I think age also helps. I have some friends that are in their 20s, early 20s, and I can see they're insecure with certain things, and I just go, just like, be kind to yourself and just give it some time.
Yeah.
It's okay that you're not, you know, feeling like you want to be this you know, this like, you know, super engaging individual, the outgoing person. Takes time to kind of just feel comfortable about yourself, and also it just takes some more failure. You and I have failed, I think, at enough things. Yeah. We're like,
I failed so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
All my failures, I always say this, I failed at everything except for my marriage and my finances. And I'm not wealthy, but like, I didn't go broke, and my marriage survived. Which was in itself an accomplishment, because marriage is not easy. Relationships take effort.
Yeah.
So like, I went into comedy with nothing except like my foundation and I call it my suit of armor. Like, my wife to me is like my armor. So I get to leave, and then I come home like beat the fuck up. And I'm like, all right, I take off my. You know, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one of the notes in here was to talk about being a comedian and having a wife, and, you know, like what that might present. But I mean, I think that kind of sums it up in a very beautiful way. Like, you know, you do have somebody that holds you to who you are at the end of the day, but also like, you know, you get to take off that armor when you get home and be like,
shine my shoulder guards, lady.
Yeah, they didn't like my popcorn joke.
Right. And it's like, I used to do a lot of stuff about her. And I have the one bit, I always reveal that she's black, you know, because it helps me with, you know, certain crowds, and it lets me go into other material. But like,
it's also a part of your life.
yeah,
you know?
and I
good to
just
share.
another part of being clean is like I refuse to be like my wife's a bitch because she's not. She's actually really sweet.
That
so, like,
firehouse humor is so lame. It's so lame.
But that's so I understand why people can do it. It's like marriages are difficult and you can.
But it's easy and it is lame. I forget. I think Dan Soder pointed this out. It's like if you're gonna complain about your wife on stage, then you need to acknowledge that you're the one that chose her.
Right.
Like you're the one who got on your knee and proposed. Like you're just telling me that you regret your choice. Yeah.
But then those Henny Youngman bits of like, I take my wife anywhere. She follows me home. Like the take my wife, please. Like that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all tongue in cheek kind of silly stuff. But
that's like Jesus Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you. Like it's just there is some reflections of that, and that was good when it was original. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about being married, for me, it's especially because there are some that I know of that are like kind of in open relationships or poly worlds and stuff, which I don't judge, but like that's just not us, and that's okay. Is that I do not get female comics concerned, like they're not going to get hit on by me.
Yeah.
And I've joked that like a female comic or a female in general could come up to me and be like, "Hey," and I would like Spartan kick them, like like this is Sparta, and kick them down the hole because like I'm just like very happy in my marriage, and I just don't want to screw that up. And it's like that's the reality of it. So like I know that I've done like this ring. I've joked makes me almost like a gay comic because it's like women. It's like they can be very safe, they can feel very comfortable, and that's actually helped me a lot too. Because like at the end of the day, if you're able to work well with all comedians.
For sure.
And make them feel very comfortable and they're not, kind of worried, is he going to try to hit on me if I get too close or whatever. That's put me in position too with opportunities where it's like, oh, how did he get that? It's like, well, the producer, she trusts me. I'm not going to, do anything creepy or weird. And it's
for
like,
sure.
Unfortunately, a lot of male comics, they're younger and they're like on the hunt and want to date and they want to screw around. So I get it. You know what I mean? But
I don't talk about this that much. Maybe I have on a previous episode, but like whenever I'm trying to book comics and they might carpool together, I will often ask the female comic if they are comfortable with the male comic beforehand. Smart. And actually sometimes if I really want the female comic to come up, and I'm like, pick somebody you don't mind being in the car with. Yeah. And then that's usually how that works. Cause I don't want to put anybody, but also you just don't know the history, like
it's hard to figure out. There's been people I've known, dudes that I thought were great guys and I kind of learned some things about them, not in comedy, I'm saying in life.
Yeah.
And they've done something and you're like, wow. And how can we know, right? We don't chop it up about, hey, what's your sexual trauma? You know what I mean? Like you like to,
and also
do
a lot
crazy
of it
things
happens on these things,
right.
Not in front of you, and then
Right.
and they're just like, well, they're blocked on somebody else's account because they said some crazy shit, and that's now that person's uncomfortable when they're in the building because that person said that,
I've said this a million times, like comedians, we're all crazy. And we all have a screw loose in our head. I think the question we have to ask ourselves is how far loose do we want that screw? Like if we want to let that thing unravel out, we're going to be nuts. We may have great material. We may write some really creative shit. We might do some stuff on stage that's like, wow, that's some really wacky shit. And get good results from it. But like you got to tighten that thing up sometimes. And I think it's a lot of folks have experienced a lot of trauma. There's the quote I love from Chappelle. It's like the more embarrassing the material, the more relatable it is. And I think we realize like some of us have been really like traumatized and don't have the ability to have some adult relationships or don't have the ability to have some like, very respectful levels to us. You know what I mean? And it's brutal. You know what I mean? I think there's some female comics I've heard some pretty terrible stories from. They're making a support. There's a support group for it for female comics.
Oh.
They say they've come up from the comedy shop.
It's unfortunate that has to exist.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that it does.
It does. It's a relief almost. My background's in HR. I've had to fire people for sexual harassment and look them in the eyes and tell them like you can't return to this location. And it's like, so like for me, I'm a little bit numb to it because I've just had to deal with weird stuff in my background. So. Yeah.
Shit.
I did weird shit.
Yeah. A lot of different work. All right. Well, I don't want to close on that note, but we do have to wrap up.
Men are dogs.
Men are dogs. Get out of here, Vinny. Dude, you've been pretty great to have on here. I'm going to do the, Likeable is filmed and recorded with the Radio Free Rhinecliff. Thank you to Jen Hammoud and Matthew Rosenberg, our producers, and thank you to the Epicurean, which hosts us for each and every episode. Likeable is a comedy-based podcast where experts in absolutely nothing and shouldn't be taken seriously at all. All right. Consider this your daily dose of very questionable wisdom and guaranteed hilarity, we hope. But Mr. Vinnie Pedi, thank you so much for coming up here, dude.
It was an honor. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I feel snug as a bug still.
Hell yeah, dude.
My butt's a little bit asleep,
Okay, that's kind of good.
so I'm a little,
Yeah,
might
a little
need
numb.
few pats out there, wake them up.
Yeah.
Double hand pat. But it was an honor, Mr. Stickle. It was an honor to
Yeah,
to
dude.
do this and see you and continue on this journey.
Yeah, man. It's cool. I've missed you, man. It's cool.
It's like I said, I will do anything for any Hudson Valley comic coming down to the city, especially if they're like, need any advice or guidance or what have you. Like, I'm happy to like spill all the beans. 'Cause
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you never know who's going to end up where, and I just want to be a supporter of good vibes. So please feel free to reach out if anyone has any questions. And you know a lot too, so it's like, David, this is a lot of resources, a lot of wisdom in this little room here. So
Yeah, dude. We're so smart.
yeah, reach out to us.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. And Carl, get us out of here. I hooked on a feeling. I'm interrupting your evening. Hey, God, I had to hold a note there. That was hard. That's embarrassing. All right, this is the Interruptible. We're doing this. We're back at the workspace here because I've got the mushroom board behind me. We got a lot of dates to run through. In August, I got 0801. That's going to be Chuck Chill Out Comedy in Saugerties. And then at 0801 again later that night, I'm leaving that show and I'm going to Julian's in Millbrook. That's going to be a good time with Mr. Corey. 086 on. I'm going to be all the way down at the bar in New York City. Very exciting that we're going to be putting on headliner Carmen Lagala, and we've got a pretty sick lineup for you there. On the 7th of August, we're going to be the Krog show, second to last one, I think, branded as the Krog. Who knows? Maybe we squeak out another one in October. Lord gets confusing sometimes. On the 8th, Don't Tell Comedy in Pearl River. Going to be doing that one. That one's going to be fun. The following week, 0815, Don't Tell Comedy in Nyack, New York. That's exciting. There might be something on the 14th. I'm not quite sure. And on the 21st, Comedy at the Park. This will be at James Baird State Park. I got a lot of stuff in Southern New York. That's fine. It's fine. Albany doesn't like me. 0822, Don't Tell Comedy in Kingston, New York. That one, thankfully, very short drive. I'm super stoked for that one. And 0823, that's going to be Comedy Social. We're going to be out in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Very excited for that one. And then 0827, we're going to be doing another Don't Tell Comedy. That's going to be in Hudson, New York. And I think that's August. There might be something else that I'm forgetting about, but I will have to text some people, which I don't have time for right now. We're just recording this, and then I'm getting back to editing the episode. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. And again, follow me on socials, follow the newsletter, all that kind of wonderful stuff. And Carl, dude, are you likable?